Welcome back to Our Cynic Culture. I am Matt.
Jason. Yeah.
And to my knowledge, we are trying the first ever Ice Cider Cask aged rye. Let's do it. Angel's Envy out of Louisville, Kentucky, correct? They're relatively new to the bourbon and rye scene, established, I think, around 2013 is from what I saw. But they really push that port cask finished product. And they do a lot of other barrel finishes too, but I actually really like their rye, their port finished rye. That's probably my go-to just every day. It's a little pricey, but you can get it. You know, there's not a lot that good stuff out there that you can get readily available. But they're pretty ubiquitous. You can get them anywhere. Now, these other guys here, Eden Ciders, they're out of Vermont, and they only do ciders. And a lot of their stuff is like the lighter fare, but an iced cider is a similar method to an Eisbocken beer or in other types of alcohol, to where you use it, you kind of freeze the water out of it, and by doing so, you create a more concentrated product. In creating ice cider, you actually just use nature. You do it during winter, and by leaving the apples out in the winter, the sugars become more concentrated, and you get a much more sweeter product. I have never had an ice cider. I don't know that I'm aware of. I'm not either. So I'm actually really excited to try the ice cider. I think it's very interesting. And then we have the corresponding rye from Angel Envy, where they took that ice cider barrel and then they aged the rye in it. So I'm doubly excited to try this. I think this is going to be really awesome. I'm going to slide this beautiful presentation box over here. I think we should have done an entire show just on that box.
It's a nice box. I would agree. So a little bit about this one. I actually got this one locally, was able to trade for this one. And then this, I wanted it, tried to find it, couldn't. They didn't ship or anything. So just so happened one of my friends, Jason, out of Michigan, actually sent me a box of beer. And what was in it? This. Yeah. I'm like, hot damn, that's the one I'm wanting, right? So, all right, let's open this thing. You want to get a close-up?
Yeah, let me get this is...
We definitely need the light coming in on this one. You know what I mean? Like the open the box.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need like angels singing or something.
So there's the bottle. Let's see if I can get it out of there. So we got a little card, Jeff. There's your notes for the talking.
It reminds me of like when you buy a toy for your kid and it's like an action figure, like a doll or something, and there's like 13 pieces of twine and like plastic like strapped to the back of the box, and you got to go through with like a scalpel to like undo all of them in order to like even play.
Or it's like the old Toys R Us commercials, and when you get the toy, it's not as good as what looks in the commercial, but this is, so we're good.
Well, I feel like my kid when like she was a baby and I buy her a toy and I want to play with the box.
So one of the nicer bottles we've seen. So the traditional Angel's Envy bottle, and then if you can see, it's kind of frosted as you go down. So that's a really, I mean, they did a hell of a job marketing that.
Yeah.
Very limited run. 6,000 bottles was the count that I saw. I felt like it was more limited than that because it was hard to get. Like it did not was not easy. Now retail cost on this one was $250. Wow. So I mean, Angel's Envy's not cheap, you know. But I think they might do finishes as good or better than anybody.
Right.
Because if you look at their products we talked about earlier, they do not have any, to my knowledge, that are not finished. Some people might say, hey, that's, maybe covering up a flaw or something. I'd love to try their unfinished product.
Right.
But I'm also very excited for this one.
Yeah.
So let's get it out. What's your thoughts first off, Jeff? So $250 off the bat. What are you thinking of that one?
Yikes. The $250 is for the rye, right?
$250 is for this Angel's Envy rye Ice Cider Cask.
How much is just the bottle of the ice cider? Like, what do those run? Like 20 or 30 bucks?
20, 30 bucks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at the bottle. I feel like it should smell cold.
Yeah.
Does it smell cold?
It does. It smells cold. Glug, glug, glug. I got a pretty decent pour of that. And I want to try a little bit of that one. So I was telling you a story earlier, both of you all, that me and another friend Jade had tried a sample of this one a while back, and Allegedly, it was this one. So we got a sample from somebody, and I got no apple flavor at all.
Oh, really?
And one of our other friends, I just kind of wrote this bottle off. I'd set it back and honestly wasn't even going to open it. But then another one of our friends said, man, there was so much apple in that. It was almost like drinking apple cider. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know that we got the right sample.
Right.
So I'm very anxious to try this again.
Do you want to put the cider side by side, or do you want to just do this one first? Maybe.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, man.
That's why I'm here.
So this will be the first thing I've ever had from these guys.
Look at that cork. It's almost like coming out.
It's very soft.
That's what she said. So Eden Ice Cider out of
Vermont.
Newport,
Now,
Vermont.
is Vermont known for apples?
They are apparently.
Do they grow apples in Vermont?
So the ice cider, the style that style of cider
they
originated in Quebec. Or I
Really?
guess Quebec, if you're from Canada. And the reason it was so popular there is because it's already fucking cold, and they're able to easily freeze a lot of their apples. So, but apparently it's a recognized style now, and there's only a few places that make ice cider, and it's like Canada and Vermont.
It smells like cider.
That's it.
Oh man, that smells great. Like it's almost like that barrel. I guess they're French oak barrels they aged these in for 12 months. It said this one's 10% ABV. You know, from the Ice Bock or whatever, I always think of like big ABV.
Right.
We're talking a little bit about that, but this one's 10%, so I guess you don't have to be the bigger ABV. But some of those Ice Bocks I've seen, I mean, they're like 20-30%. I feel like.
That's what Brewdog
So what they're trying to do here,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
is just to make like a sweeter product.
Well, it smells great. I'm going to start on the bourbon just to see, or the rye, sorry.
Yeah.
The nose, I mean, I don't get a ton. I think maybe I shouldn't have smelled that.
I don't get a huge nose on the bourbon, on the rye.
I don't either, honestly.
Okay, good.
But I do get
I get a little bit though. I mean, I can
Caramel.
Caramel.
I do get some sweetness and some apple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, clearly this was not the sample I tried before. So, I mean,
A little burn, because what's the proof?
you know what? I don't even know on this one. I think they're all the same. 107, 103, 53.5, so 107.
Yeah.
I think that might be what all their proofs are. Or, well, maybe most of them. So they do a few different finished products. I have another one at home. I think it's a bourbon finished, but again, all theirs are. But they've done like I think 4 different variations of like special editions with boxes or whatever.
Right.
So, but this one was the most exciting when we heard about it. I mean, it was. I was very excited to try it.
They have
What's
I
cider?
think the Angel Envy, they have a good amount of body in all their products.
For sure.
And I actually like the variety that they do with the different finishes. And this one has a kind of crispness to it. I do get the apple.
I used to
I
buy
think it's
them
really good.
when they first started. But they were even then they were like 60 or 70 when they first started hitting the market.
Probably.
They're probably about 90 now, I guess.
Well, the rye, I mean, you can get for like 75.
Are they still in the 70 range?
Depends on where you're buying. I'd say Kroger's probably cheapest place. You're probably out 65 to 75, cheapest you can find it. So
Yeah, Costco has them now. I think it's 75.
They used to have
Maybe
like,
it's
didn't
like
they used to have
70.
like a red wine
port finished. Yep.
That was maybe like 100 or something or closer to that.
The problem with Angel's Envy, the knock that I would give them is every damn bottle looks the same. Now this is the one that's unique, right? So
Right.
green label around it, it's like
frosted,
that frosted. But most of them, even the special editions, if you're not paying attention, you won't even know what the hell it is.
Can you go into their place now in Louisville?
I would assume you can, but I've never been.
I've never been inside.
Right.
Isn't it
That
down off
wouldn't
of
be a bad
Market?
trip either. What's
Isn't it
that?
like off of Market Street or something like that?
I think it's right there close to
Against the
like.
green?
Yep.
Well, Angel
what I
Envy
thought.
isn't like one of those brands that people just like go out of their way to find, you know?
I feel like it's pretty readily
You can buy
available.
them in other states, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
mean-
like we did a show not too long ago on Willet, you know, and it's like people go crazy over those Willet bottles, especially
sure.
the purple top. But like you say, Angel Envy, be like, oh, okay, well, whatever, you know. But I mean, it's a very solid product.
Try that cider.
Same with Wild Turkey. I feel like they're in the same. I know they don't finish their stuff usually, but it's the same thing. They don't get much hype. They're starting to come around, I think, with the bourbon boom. Speaking of that, we have seen kind of a development over the past maybe 3 months as the company is not going, or the country is not going into recession at all. It's not a
of course
recession.
not, no.
But when we've seen that, the prices of bourbon secondary, which have been astronomically climbing, have tapered and
Wow.
came down some.
Something came down in price.
It has, which is, I guess, kind of shocking. But what you're seeing right now, and this is the 1st of August, we're kind of recording this, but you're seeing tons of bottles flooding the market. Bottles that you hadn't seen in a while, people have been kind of holding.
Yeah. They got to pay for their gas.
Well,
Right, seriously.
But here's what I think, too, though. So
$5 a gallon, fuck that. Break out the pappy, baby.
if you came into the bourbon hobby and went high-end initially, and within the last 2 years, you bought at the top of the market, which is never good. I mean, I would never pay $1,000 for a bottle. No. And now those same bottles they paid $1,000 for, thinking they're going up, are down to $800, $750. So it's
panicking.
Like, it's like a stock.
Panicking. It's like stock market.
It's exactly like a stock market.
You got it high, and you're trying to sell before it crashes low.
Yep. So again, I feel like Angel's Envy's kind of been immune to that, but still at $250 price tag, I mean, they're kind of already there.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think we probably should have started with the cider.
Okay.
And went into this. And maybe that would have...
That cider is interesting.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
And that might have even kind of supported the rye a little bit. But this rye, I'm actually really enjoying this. I think this is absolutely fantastic. I hate that how expensive the bottle is, but I love it. If I came across it, I'd probably buy it.
I think their regular rye's great.
I think it is too.
I like it a lot.
I tell you what, I'd buy this cider.
Yeah, but then you couple it with the cider, and this is
6 of those. Oh, that's
it's like no other apple cider. I mean, there's the dry ciders I really like, the ones that taste kind of like white wine, and then there's kind of the sweeter appley ones like this. But this is more syrupy and sugary and richer. It's really rich.
It's very dessert,
extremely rich.
Maybe that's where the ice part comes in. Just keeps concentrating that flavor. Now
I don't think I've had a sweet appley cider like this before.
No.
So the variety here, the Northern Spy apples, it's an antique variety. I don't think I've ever seen that variety in a store, but it's one of the 3 most popular at the end of the 19th century. But we've not seen it a ton like lately.
I don't see it in fucking Kroger.
No, I don't see when you go like farmers market. I don't remember that. That's a pretty. Do what now?
What's it called?
Northern Spy. Because that's a pretty like name that would stand out to you. I don't think I'd forget that. Northern Spy.
Well, apples are weird.
Yeah.
They are,
because you can't just plant an apple seed in the ground and get a tree with all these great apples. You have to graft and hybrid.
Really?
You're right.
Yeah.
You know how I know you're right?
Because I was right.
Because I did that.
You planted apple
and it
seeds.
didn't work. I tried it at least 4 times when I was a kid.
So I like what you said, Matt. Start with that cider and go back to this. Oh man!
And I think the cider would kind of even like support this a little bit, which might be unfair, but together, I mean, it's a treat. I think this is really good.
I could see.
I got really high there for a second, but it's fantastic.
And
you going through puberty?
One thing I do really enjoy about Angel's Envy is it is a fantastic mixer. And I know that sounds bad, but
it's expensive for a mixer.
I know, but damn, does it make a good old fashioned.
Really?
I mean, their rye, their finished rye, I know it's very. My old boss bought me a bottle of that, and I took it to a cabin. Me and my cousin finished that damn ball in a day.
Really?
Playing cards and drinking that. Well,
I think that's called being an alcoholic.
Yep, that'd have been.
Did you guys?
Could you not see like a craft cocktail with that right there?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's set up for it, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
usually don't use $70 rye for that. But.
Well, that's $250 actually, but
Oh, it's that one. I thought you meant like the regular, just the regular.
the regular rye is great, but I could see. I mean, man,
Jesus Christ, I could see like making a cocktail out of these two together.
Yeah.
Well,
and put like an apple
Actually,
slice in
they
there
would
with
go
like
together well.
yeah.
A little splash of that cider inside of the rye.
You know what you should do? Just put like a cube, like a big cube in there, and then smoke on top. I think a smoked cocktail is really good.
I'm actually upset that they didn't sell
I put a
these.
little
Like
cider in my.
I'm actually debating that. So
they should have sold this in a set. They should have actually packaged a bottle with the rye. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
So-
300 for the two.
The what?
300 for the
100%. Everybody buy that. I mean, if you're buying that bottle anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you go back. So marketing wise, Buffalo Trace did that. So remember a couple years ago when we had the variants of Bourbon County beer. They had the Blanton's one. They had the Weller one. Mm-hmm. They actually had those at the distillery, one per person. Those Bourbon
shit,
County.
really?
Yeah,
Bourbon Counties
like
were
how
there?
great was that?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's
really
awesome.
cool.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And that's cross promotion too.
100%.
That's how marketing works. Somebody needs to call these stupid motherfuckers and teach them a thing or two.
So what do you think about this one value wise? And I'll go ahead and say 250 is a lot. So Jeff, what do you think retail?
It's a tough one because when you first told us the price, comparing it to a bottle of Willet we once had a long time ago, that was
Or
$280.
not had it. We don't know. Well, they'll release them.
Depending on the order of how the shows come out. I was prepared to say $250. I don't think so. But again, I kind of think I don't really think about it for just me. If I had the money to spend on really, I don't normally spend that much money on a bottle of rye or bourbon.
Well, it's not something you're drinking 3 ounces a night.
I'm not drinking this every night if I had a bottle, but I would probably, now that we've tasted it and I saw it for $2.50, I think I would buy it. Yeah.
But also, did you see the box?
And the box was so cool. Is the box just cardboard or is it tin? What is it?
I mean, it's like heavy cardboard, but it's pretty
cool
nice.
box. You
It's a little magnet to it.
If you have like Barbie zombies,
Yeah,
Exactly.
You put it in here.
It looks like a
for
coffin.
sure.
Doesn't it look like a coffin?
I feel like Rob Zombie should take that design. It makes sense.
yeah.
so the box is very cool.
Yeah,
I mean, that's at least $150 in that
I
box.
say 175.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
175.
Not that I ever spend $200 and $250 on a bottle of booze, which I don't. But I'd say okay.
Okay, so worth it for retail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what are you thinking?
I do it all day. This is one. If I saw it, I wouldn't drink it every day. I wouldn't keep drinking and hammering it. But like, if I ran out, I would go out and buy another one if it was that readily available. Which I'm assuming it's not going to be.
I mean, at 6,000 bottles, you think it would be. If you go back to that Willet we have, it was like 140 bottles, 150.
Right,
So,
yeah.
I mean, that tells you the scale. Now,
Yeah,
on this one, though, like, secondary is not crazy. It got as high as 400.
Really?
I'd say if you're here locally, like local market, I bet you can get it for $350.
But see, that's what I like in trying to find, or playing the bourbon game. It's like you can go really high end and just kind of like sweat and lose your ass trying to get the really high stuff. You can go super low end and just not give a fuck and just buy whatever you can find on the shelf.
Yep.
Or you can find something right in the sweet spot,
100%.
And it's like I keep going back to the Angel Envy. It's a little pricey, but it's always available, Like I would love to see, even if a price or a bottle like that, I would love to see it land around and find something really good that you can just get whenever you want.
When I was lucky enough, I didn't get one at retail, but what I traded was just a couple Blandons. So, I mean, I was into it for, my cost was actually cheaper. Me that paid $65 for a couple Blantons to trade to this. So, I mean, retail for me, I got this bottle for $130, which I'm super happy. It's like
awesome.
half price, right?
That's great, yeah.
But even if I gave $250, I think this is a nice bottle to have. I don't know if I'd buy multiple, but I'd have one. But I tell you what, I would have a damn ball of that ice cider with it.
Right.
I would. When we get done with this show tonight,
Do they distribute here?
No, I'm gonna text Jason and say, "Can you get me some more of that shit?"
I'd buy
'Cause,
all that.
I mean, it's $25.
I'd like to try other ones.
And
but-
there's no secondary.
Can you recap that?
I'm
Or does it
assuming
have
it's
to
like
be-
a mead.
Does it have to be consumed in one
no,
sitting?
it's a,
I don't
it's a-
think
it's
so.
a cork.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mead or wine. I would say
You
it's
probably put it back in the fridge.
It's
and be
still,
like,
yeah.
You probably just
It's
let
still
it
it's
sit
not
on the
carbonated.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Because I don't want to. You wouldn't want to drink the whole thing in one night, but you'd want to have some here and there. It's pretty sweet.
Look at that weird mushroom head on top, though.
That part was like already sticking out. Remember how it was? It was like coming out through it. I'm gonna mix a little bit of that just to see. So for
did,
me,
that's what I did.
I do think it's worth it retail. Secondary at 400. I'm not buying that one because I mean, if you look at it, you should be able to get a bottle and a half or 2 bottles for roughly that. So, what about secondary, Jeff? What do you think? 400?
No.
Matt?
That's a little bit high. Knowing that I can get the regular rye for 75, this is really good. I don't think it's 10 times better than the regular one.
I'd agree.
Right.
I think what else you could say is if you can get the regular rye with that ice cider,
Oh, yeah.
it'd
I
be
think-
cheaper to do that
Exactly
way,
right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they complement each other really well.
All right. Well, I think the moral of this story is, kids, save your money. Don't pay full secondary. Just wait. Just wait.
That's the moral of a lot of our stories.
Yeah.